think the 2008 crisis was a miserable crisis, actually. And the reason it was a miserable crisis is because every other crisis that we'd had, and we have crises every few years, in every other crisis, the markets have recovered, the industry has recovered, and we've gone on to do bigger and better things in some shape or form. The 2008 crisis was miserable because we haven't really recovered from it. In fact, and if anything, the crisis has just got worse. It's just being disguised by all of this funny money that's being pumped into the system by the central banks just because they don't have a clue what else they can possibly do to keep the global economy afloat. But we haven't recovered from that crisis economically. The markets are clearly much higher than they were at the bottom of the crisis, but it doesn't feel like anyone's really made a lot of money in the last few years. And I think the whole finance industry is forever changed and is never going to go back. Never is a long time, but is never going to go back to what it was like before that crisis. I think the whole game in the financial services industry has changed, and whether it wasn't necessarily due to the crisis per se, but that was kind of that was a clear marker that marked the end of a remarkable age. I mean, I started my career in finance in 1983, and those 25 years, 1983 to 2008, were just the most remarkable time, almost in any industry. It was the most incredible time of growth in financial services. There was a lot of innovation, a lot of clever people were attracted to the industry. We had a lot of fun. There was a lot of positive energy. And that party, and I don't mean to demean it because a lot of good things happened in that period, but that party kind of came to an end in 2008. And I think the mood more broadly and the mood within the financial services industry has kind of changed forever, since that crisis. And that's partly why I started to think about, doing something else, because the fun went out of the business, and you live once, you've got to have fun. And more importantly than that, I felt like I'd stopped learning, and because there was less stuff to learn in finance after 2008 than before. There are a lot of lessons to be learned, that's for sure. I mean, a huge number of lessons, and I'm not sure we've properly learned all of those lessons within the industry or even outside the industry. But in terms of the product innovation and all those other things and the growth of the business, I think there was less to learn.